Hey, frenemies, this week's podcast is the Frendzies episode. Welcome back, frenemies, to episode 102. I'm your host, Chris. To my right, the commission. And our special guest this week, the champ.
The specialist of guests.
Yes.
We don't get him often, but...
We're just honored. The Reverend himself, who's won our local league, he's our special guest today. And we are pumped. First off, to be back in studio.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, a little Christmas break, and we're recording.
The holidays Shone Rock special.
That was weird. In my dining room.
That was my least favorite episode ever aired on this podcast.
It's getting the most views thanks to all of their Facebook friends.
That's a shame.
My brothers have a lot of friends. A bunch of people are watching it. Anyways, let's jump right into our episode today. We're going to do a little recap of championship week. We got the Reverend in here giving his championship address to the league. And then we have some Frendzies Awards. If you're the Office fan, which most of our league is. I was just thinking about this. If there's someone in our league the Office, if they're not an Office fan, should we kick them out of our league?
I think they should lose draft picks. At a minimum, but it's just a shame for them. I just feel bad.
I can't think of anyone. I might have to investigate. But anyways, we're going to do our version of the Dundies called the Frenzies, and we give every guy in our league an award. So if you're not in our league, you're going to laugh anyways because some of them are pretty comical. So let's go right into the fantasy championship recap here.
Yeah, I think we first just need to start with our league. Let's update the people, the two other people that watch us besides our league mates as to what happened at the end of our league.
They're waiting with bated breath to hear who won as I sit here.
So, as we said, David won the league. He played, not Phil, Joe, who we'll talk about later, got an award because he tends to be in the playoffs and not win the championship.
Poor Joe.
Poor Joe.
But anyway, so one of these guys were on your team here, but let's start with him. Devontae Adams helped win a lot of people.
If I ever have a son, his name is going to be David Ante. Because, man, having Devontae Adams this year, every week he was in, I think he had 2 games under 10 points. And every other week, he was like a top 12.
Yep.
And he went off.
And in the championship week, 37 points, baby.
Remember when he was bad? There was a year where he was bad.
I do remember that. And then it was like he remembered how tall and fast he was. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, and his quarterback, probably the MVP this season.
Oh, my gosh.
He looked at him every single time in the red zone. It was awesome. Then let's talk about these two guys. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. This was a stack if you had them both on your team, which your opponent did.
Unbelievably. On Monday night, I'm just thinking of how many fantasy owners went to bed on Sunday night so confident that they were going to win.
Up by 60.
And they only had 2 players remaining, and then they lost. What a time to have them. I think they combined in our league for like 78. It was an unbelievable
Yeah, we were talking before. You were up by 90, and then you barely won it by 18
It was terrifying.
points.
I was horrified watching the Patriots pretend to play football against... it was awful.
And then Alvin Kamara, that was a Christmas Day special there for fantasy owners, which he disappointed for most of the year. But he's like, you know what? I'm going to go 50 on the poor Viking defense.
He should wear those cleats every game. I don't care if he gets fined. Those red and green cleats, he needs to wear them every week. If you score 6 touchdowns, I would wear it, and I would have $1 million fine.
I got to call out Sean Payton, though. The man didn't give him the chance to get the 7, get the record.
No, stop giving the ball to Hill.
I was like, what is going on there? But this doesn't happen every single fantasy season. To where we have a championship game where we just have some big time production.
Yeah, and these are guys you drafted to be this. So if you drafted Alvin Kamara, he finally paid off for you. Now the week before kind of dudded out. You might not have made it, but if you did, you probably won with Alvin Kamara.
Yep. So with the champ in studio today, we're gonna go to him here. We do this thing where the champ gets to address the league. I don't remember really ever.
I'll give it the
back.
I'll give it the back. Yeah, why didn't you do that?
I think
that. So this is the backstory.
I didn't want to write 3 of them. Boom.
Okay.
I'm just gonna ignore
I need to change my script for Chris.
I'm sorry.
So, I don't know if you've ever heard the story of how we started this.
I think I did, but remind their audience.
So Tim's brother, his older brother Matt, was in our league. and his team name I think was Boss Roster or something. And he comes in, strutting his stuff. He's Tim's older brother. He's like, I've got to get my brother in there. He'll be awesome as a league mate. We get him in there, and our big thing was you cannot auto draft in this league. We want people that are paying attention.
Oh man!
And we get to the league, or we get to the draft, and he's on auto draft. Tim's calling him. He's like, he just can't get a hold of him.
Wasn't he on like on a boat or a yacht?
Nope. No.
Oh.
That's season 2. Don't get ahead of the story.
To be continued.
So he auto drafts, and so then our whole joke the whole season is he auto draft. And did he win the league?
Yeah, that was the year he won.
So
he got to the draft some of it, but his first 7 picks.
Yeah, when it counts.
Were auto drafted.
Yeah, he auto drafted, and so we just gave him so much crap for it. He then proceeded to, if you have heard Tim on this podcast, there's a little bit of sass behind him, and it continues with his brother. And so he sent this email that just he didn't say much.
Yes!
He didn't say much in the league all year.
He blasted.
He wins it, and then he just blasts.
That was
everybody.
miserable.
Just systematically takes everybody down.
Oh my goodness!
And it was hilarious.
I forgot about this.
So that's kind of our league tradition. Hopefully, your leagues have the same thing. So there's always an origin story to it. For us, we give the champ the platform, that's what I'm trying to say, to tear down or lift up or brag on himself for winning the championship. So, David, I'm handing this over to you.
Yeah, so I first just want to say to everyone who's listening, I hope that you can find someone who loves you as much as I love being in this fantasy league. I am truly, I hope no one from my church watches this. I am truly embarrassed to say how much my identity is laced into being a part of this fantasy league. I mean, I was watching NFL games this year that I didn't even care about from a home team standpoint. I like the Ravens, didn't affect them at all, or even my own fantasy matchup, just to see how it impacted other people's fantasy matchups in the league. Like late at night when it was dumb. Like, what was I doing? But I care so much. Our league is so great. We didn't have the final playoff slot filled in our league until about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter in the last game of week 13. I mean, come on.
That was me.
What could be better? We have a weekly podcast that discusses our league. And again, I'll just say, this is the best. I know you all joke about who's listening to this. Even if it's just me, it is worth it because I love it every week. I love driving to work with listening to this podcast when it comes out. And from top to bottom, the level of effort in our league this year, I feel was the best it ever was.
Yeah, for sure.
And I might be, short-term memory, but the effort from top to bottom, the competition on the waiver wire each week was unbelievable. I love that we have Fab. It makes that so competitive. The amount of trades we had was the best we've ever had.
The most, yeah.
It is just a blast to be a part of this league, and I hope that no one takes that for granted. I think a lot of people wish they could be in a league like this, and so it's great. So before I speak briefly to each person in our league, I just want to highlight what I thought was my biggest takeaway from our season, and it's something you all have mentioned before on this podcast. There is almost nothing you can't overcome in your fantasy season. When I think through this year, the amount of stuff that people in our league overcame and still were able to make the playoffs is just a testament that until you're mathematically eliminated, there is still hope for you. I mean, Joe only had 3 games from Christian McCaffrey all year, his number 1 pick, and then he still made it to the championship game.
Yep.
Daniel had injuries to his top 2 picks, Mixon and Sanders, the whole year, and was able to flip pieces to get Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, and he made the playoffs. Tim had 1 game from Saquon, his number 1 pick, and then after doing lots of work to pivot, Dak goes down for the season, and he still is able to pivot with help from one guy in the league that we'll talk about later. And he was almost able to repeat as a champion. And then Sean started 0-4?
0-4.
0-4 and came all the way back to make the playoffs. So just remember, next year, no matter how bleak things look, your first round pick gets hurt, trades aren't going your way. Keep making moves, use the waiver wire. Even minor trades can end up being really beneficial for you. So until you're mathematically eliminated, you are still in it. So don't tank.
Or just have Devontae Adams.
Or just draft and have your entire team be healthy. But we'll talk about that when we get to me. So just a couple of comments for everyone in our league. I'll keep these short. I'll start at the bottom. So Phil, I'm sorry that Kamara didn't give you the points you needed when you needed them. And then he pooped on you in week 16 to think about what you could have had. And then, man, I was so high on Josh Jacobs. but he didn't do what you were kind of hoping, and that's just a bummer. And the takeaway for you this season is you probably should never draft another Ravens player because you drafted Hollywood Brown, and I really wanted him, and I'm so glad you did instead. And then Mark Andrews, he was fine, but he definitely underwhelmed. So I'm sure that's your takeaway for the season. Andy, I do want to actually commend you first for your effort. I mean, you played till the very end, which I appreciate. When you and I played, Andy, I beat you by 1 point, and it was terrifying. So I appreciate how you competed. I'm excited to see how many Denver Broncos you have next year out of the draft, and I'm sure we'll talk about that trade more in a little bit, but I'll leave it at that. LaRoyce, I only have praise for you. What a joy it is to have you back in our league. It was not right when you were gone. Your comments multiple times in the Sleeper app would make me laugh out loud in places where it was inappropriate for me to laugh out loud. And then I have to explain it to my wife, and she'd be like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, it's just fantasy. And she'd go, oh, okay. And then she'd walk away. And that was a lot of, but that was all from LaRoyce. And again, you were the most unlucky player of all time. I have no idea how you didn't win the championship. The week we played, I think you beat me by 40. So if you can take any solace from that, you beat the champ by 40. So, anyway, next year, I'm sure you're going to be in the playoffs, and I'm afraid of you being there. Ryan, there is nothing funnier than what happened to your running back core. I just can't imagine my top 2 running backs ending up getting traded to be on the same team, literally not only hurting one guy's role, but both of them. And then you're continuing to start them both the rest of the season as if nothing had changed is a testament to your level of attention to this league. Kudos on keeping Metcalf. I thought that was actually a bad pick, and that was wrong, so well done on that. Your desire to have large men on your team seems to be paying off for you. But I do want to give you a warning, public warning. There was at least 1 week where you had an empty spot on your roster, and Marvin Jones was on your bench, and he scored 20 points. Don't do that. That is crap. Don't do that.
That is crap.
Start a whole roster. Even if you're tanking, pick up Taylor Heineke, and you'll be able to keep going. Chris.
Ooh. Here we go. He's paying attention now.
Looking at your roster, I'm surprised that you didn't find your way into the playoffs. I know you were really close. Getting Justin Jefferson off the waiver wire was huge. I'm so mad I didn't pay more that week. And you have Mahomes, who is great. I guess Aaron Jones wasn't as great. I thought he would be a lot better than he was, but I honestly am confident that you'll be back in the playoffs next year. But it was my greatest joy that you weren't in this year. It really was. Mike, you had a great pick of Hopkins. I kind of thought he would not do great in Arizona, and I was dead wrong. So well done on that. And I will admit, and I'll kind of whisper this, I actually do like having you in the league. Tim will never be allowed in, so don't. He's not allowed.
That's my brother.
Is that who he is?
Yep.
Okay. The other Sean Rock.
Sean.
And I'm very glad you didn't make the playoffs either. So, okay, Sean. So we'll get into our playoff teams now. I already mentioned coming down from being 0-4. What a testament, right? I mean, I'm telling you, the hard work paid off, and I know how much effort you put into this.
Yeah, too much.
Well done. Again, I just
get kicked out of the playoffs.
Every chance I get, I want to thank you for doing this podcast. This is what makes this league such a blast. So thank you for doing that. And when I look at your team, I don't understand how that. If someone had
that is
showed
my
me,
life, looking at my team and not understanding.
If someone had showed me your team in the draft, like in the draft season, I would have gone, are there like 3 people in this league? Like, what is happening? So I can't wait to see who you're going to keep next year. And you are going to win a championship. It is going to happen anyway. And you're going to have a baby. It's going to be the best year of your life. So it's going to be great.
Spoken into existence.
Morgan.
Your nemesis.
I am which is so funny, but we always have competitive games. So I'm going to make this promise. After your performance this year and your effort that you gave, I will never again utter the words during the draft, why is Morgan in this league? Which is a tradition for me to say pretty much every year. And this, I will never say it again because you cared and you put in great effort. Derrick Henry is a keeper. I mean, what a great pick for you. And I'm sorry Kenyon Drake didn't pan out. I thought that was a great keeper. Anyway, I'm just this league is better when you are active and in the chat and commenting. You're a hilarious guy. Anyway, so I'm glad to see it. Don't make me regret those words. I will never once again ask why you're in this league. My brother Daniel, Dan Yurt, the turtle boy himself. What's his name? The turtle? Tidewater Turtles. Yeah, anyway, he has so many names. I'm so glad you made the playoffs. I was rooting for you. It was always my favorite. Dan Yurt. That's what we call.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, Dan Yurt. Yeah. My favorite traditions on Mondays and Tuesdays was texting you, trying to diagnose the league. And then we've already mentioned on this podcast how much we love your score giving and how you give the weekly headlines. That's
the analytics that come from.
We love. And I feel like I'm in a privileged position that I'm the brother of the co-commissioner of this league. I feel like that's really elevated my status, and I'm looking for ways to use that to my advantage.
The regional commissioner.
He is assistant to the regional commissioner. All right, last two people. Tim, I loved being pessimistic with you. I love texting back and forth about whose team is worse while we're both destroying everyone else in the league, but thinking that we're miserable.
So annoying.
And
Yes.
I loved adding so I'll just admit, there is a small group of people who text on Sundays and Mondays, and that's the people at this table sometimes.
And Tim.
And I added Tim to make sure. I wanted Tim to be in that discussion. I found out they'd already been doing this. But now there's a group that we are able to text, and so it's really fun. Tim gives great advice. Just to let you all know, Tim and I gave advice to each other about our rosters in the week we played each other in the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
That is the type of friend. Anyway, so thank you, Tim, for your integrity. And his advice helped me. So that's worth. Anyway, that was really cool.
Was it start Tony Pollard?
No, that was an obvious choice. I was praying for Zeke to have the flu. That's the last part of my speech. And then finally, Joe. Again, you overcame your first round pick getting hurt, playing 3 games. Yeah, Joe surprises me every year. I always see his draft, and I'm kind of like, eh. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, he killed it. So I am sorry that your team was hot garbage, your words, not mine, on the championship weekend, except for Allen and Diggs. Because literally, if anyone else had showed up at all, you would be sitting in this chair instead of me. So I can't believe that game ended up being what it was. But congrats on how you fought. You are going to win a championship, I assure you. I will end my time by just giving I want to say thanks to people that helped me get to this place as the champion. So I first want to thank Chris Schoenrock for trading me Terry McLaurin for Jamison Crowder and Joshua Kelly.
Oh, man.
I will always remember when I offered that trade, I was at the gym and I sent it. And I always expect when I make a trade offer to get a text back where you're going to barter, because of course. And he accepted that trade faster than lightning, and I went, "Oh no! Did I attach the wrong person? I must have screwed up."
McLaurin's
and then, before I knew it, it was accepted, and I was like, "I've made a huge mistake." And I remember Leroyce put in the chat, "That's a high price for Scary Terry," and I remember being like, "I'm screwed." And then Jamison Crowder got hurt like the next day.
Yep,
Joshua Kelly never carried the ball again, and then Terry McLaurin had a number of good weeks for me. So I also want to. This is what I'm talking about. How it's never too late, and these are the type of moves that make you win fantasy championships.
Or
Ready?
lose.
Well, no, this next one right here. So I remember Daniel had all his backups in because his starting running backs were hurt. So he had Boston Scott and Gio Bernard and Samaje Perine or whatever. And then the next week, Eckler came off the IR, so he had to drop somebody. So he dropped Boston Scott. Who cares about Boston Scott? Well, I know Daniel cares about Boston Scott, so I picked him up for nothing. And then I flipped him the next week when he needed him again for J.D. McKissick. And I remember the trade happened, and I remember Tim commented in the chat, "What a big move," as a joke. And J.D. McKissick he got me 19 points in the championship game, and I won by 18 points. That is what I'm talking about. Those are the kind of moves where you troll your own brother to get J.D. McKissick back. And then finally, the people that I did draft. So those were my trades, the people I drafted. I want to thank Mark Ingram for being so bad that I was able to drop him so early and not waste my roster spot. Fifth round pick, Mark Ingram. That really panned out. Robert Woods, consistent for me, wide receiver 13 for the year. Tony Pollard, he only played 1 week for me.
He burned bright.
He made the most of it. I was praying that Zeke would be sick in week 16, but he played pretty well. But 28 points in week 15, what a dream. And my favorite, David Johnson. In championship week, remembered that he was good at football. 27 points in week 16. I never expected that. I was actually in a movie theater watching Wonder Woman 84 and getting updates on my watch going, "He scored again? David Johnson scored again? I have to leave this movie and see if this is real." Anyway, last two, Kyler Murray, Devontae Adams. Kyler, you kind of petered out at the end, but they carried me all season, and they didn't get hurt, which was really kind of the only requirement this year for being good. If your guys didn't get hurt, you probably won most of your league. So It's great to be in this league. It is an honor. I thought that it couldn't get any better, and then I won, and it got better. So I hope it gets better for all of you next season.
Oh man, it deserves like an applaud drop.
I know.
There, it's like, right, that was a good speech.
Congratulations, new champ.
It just feels great.
You know what else?
I want to know what that feels like. I really would like to know what that feels like.
Yeah, well, you're about to have a kid. Yeah, it feels about as good as that.
Snap.
Yeah.
Natalie's got to hear this.
Yeah, it's about the same level of joy and feeling of like I did something.
Without the responsibility.
Yeah.
Well, talking about accomplishments, we're going to give out some participation awards to the rest of our league, and we call them the Frendzies. And we're going to start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. I didn't actually put it in correct order. I just tried to remember as well as I could. And we're going to start with David. Commish, what's David's Frenzy Award?
I mean, it's just the champ award.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you get. No one can be mad at this chamamp.
This
That's a new word here. Chamamp.
Yeah, you can't be mad at this champ.
Where's my little trophy? The businessman. Is that in the mail?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm excited.
It's a ring, which I think we said. Who won last year?
I didn't want to mention it.
Tim. Yeah, Tim owes you a ring.
Tim owes you a ring.
Oh, I thought it was whoever got last this year.
I don't remember.
No, wait, yeah, you're right. Because I think Ryan
whoever wants to buy me a ring would be great.
Didn't Phil finish last?
I wasn't going to bring it up because I don't want him to have to use his money on a ring for me. But if he wants to go, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a size 10.
All right, so David gets the champ no one can be mad at award. Sometimes, like when I won in the previous years, especially the asterisk season, some people might not be very happy with that, but this was a clean-cut win.
It's the Dolphins effect for me, where it's like, we don't make the playoffs every year. I have to have a playoff team. David was my playoff team.
I appreciate it.
I was very
felt
happy.
supported.
Talking about the playoff team, we're going back to the early 90s. Joe,
God.
You are the Buffalo Bills Award.
This is the perfect award for him because he
best one
got there by Bills players, right?
Yeah.
And he keeps getting to the championship game, and his
loses.
field goal goes
This is
wide
third
right.
one?
I mean, he just can't. It's 3 in a row.
Yeah. 3 in a
Unbelievable.
row, and you lose it that way. Tim.
Oh man,
Tim.
I think we need to put him and Andy back to back. Let's make
here we
that
go.
adjustment.
Yeah,
here.
I'm moving Andy up. Tim, all right. Tim, you get the Jedi Mind Trick Award. Jedi Mind Trick Trader Award. Because I'm also giving Andy Tim's Best Friend Award. That trade.
We can't mention that trade enough on this podcast.
it's funny because Lockett ended up not being great.
No.
Yeah.
But it's still infuriating. Like they could have both had career-ending injuries, and I still would have been furious that trade happened.
Yeah.
And if you could see the text chain that went to the group when that trade happened,
Oh my goodness.
I've never been more angry.
I think I was more angry about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. No.
Well, Sean and I got a lot of calls and texts about that. But Andy, look at me. Got me? There is no way you knew Tyler Lockett was just going to fizzle out. So you can't tell me it looked out great.
I mean, own it now. You got it.
In the moment, we were all just lost with it. And also, Tim, we want to throw you the shout out for the most injured award.
David
Seriously.
mentioned it, but goodness gracious, yeah.
Yeah, your roster.
You
for you to
overcame
still
the
make
time.
the playoffs that way. All right. Sean, we have given you the Too Many Keepers Award. How did that roster
Can you just
not,
list a few people that are on
Yeah.
your roster right now? Because it's
how did you
powerful.
not win a playoff game with that roster?
I had Justin Herbert as my quarterback. This is my playoff team.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Tyreek Hill.
You still haven't named someone that I
Michael
was
Thomas,
thinking of.
Allen Robinson, and who's my other running back? Somebody fantastic.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
you
I
traded
traded.
him.
I traded
Okay.
David Montgomery. Yeah.
Good.
My receivers were
praise
Michael
God.
Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That's a roster that looks phenomenal, but they just couldn't all put it together when it counted.
To answer the question, I don't know who I'm keeping.
And yes, the Too Many Keepers, because we all want to see who you allow us to draft
I know.
in the summer.
Man.
So Morgan, I'm gonna give this to you.
Yeah, I gave you the Finally Tried Hard Award. I know you try hard at a lot of things, right? I mean,
And he tries in fantasy, but
yeah,
I don't know if
sure.
the word hard was
but
attached
this
to
year, I felt like you tried hard. I mean, you picked up people on the waiver wire. You zoomed into the draft. You were attentive. Anyway, again, compliments to you. You finally tried hard award.
Nice. All right, Sean, I want you to give Daniel this award here.
All right, so this is the Keeper Overcomer Award.
Yeah.
You kind of talked about it, David, but yeah, having those two keepers, Joe Mixon and Miles Sanders, I mean, to overcome that and make it to the he made the semifinals, right? Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. Some props there for the Turtles.
It was just amazing to see your bench all the time, where you're injured reserve, where your top picks and your keepers.
I like how I made the announcement already. I'm not keeping either two of these.
Yes, they're both dead to me.
It doesn't matter.
All right, and I'm going to give this to my brother, Mike. I was tired of hearing this all the time, but the best podcast guest award goes to you. From even people that aren't in our league that watch and stuff, they came up and told me, "Oh, I love your podcast, especially your brother." And I kept thinking, no, Sean's not my brother. He's just the host. No, the one with your twin brother. It's like, well, first off, you haven't listened in a while. It's been a while since he's been one. This is early in the year. So, Mike, I give that to you, man. Thanks for being a great guest. And we'll try to get you on a little more often, I guess.
Yeah, can I just move here? I mean,
I think he should do like a correspondence segment.
Like
he should just have a fake backdrop of a different stadium every week and just be in. I think it would be great.
That, or he should like come down here and work at a local church sometime.
I
knew it was going to come up.
I hate this league.
He loves bringing that. He brought that up in the show.
I remember.
Oh, no bitterness there.
Chris, we got your award here. We're going to call this the Fall Off Team Award. And if that's not clear enough, it's the opposite of the Comeback Team Award.
Yeah.
So you were, riding high with all your championships and did not make the playoffs this year.
Oh, yeah. 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
Last year I was just one spot out. This year
that's
I was
right.
two
I forgot.
spots out.
Yeah.
So I just keep falling down. As I
love
watched Dalvin Cook, who I traded away, get you in the playoffs. Anyways, no bitterness. Okay. All right. Can you give this one to Ryan, Sean?
Yes,
Here
so
you go.
this is Ryan's award here. I'm going to give him the most stubborn fantasy player award, which is kind of what David alluded to. Starting these running backs that are on the same team, thinking that this is going to work out. I specifically remember the trade offer that he got from Tim. I don't remember what the details were, but he's told me that he tried to get Lev Bell. And Ryan came like whining to me like, look at this terrible trade that I was offered to by Tim for my great Lev Bell. I'm like, dude, do that. Lev Bell is done. He has gone to a place I know it's fantastic that he's on the Chiefs, but you have both of them. I mean, I love you, man. You're stubborn. It may be why you made some draft picks you did that won you the league that 1 year, but we're giving you most stubborn award.
That 1 year.
1 year.
The first year. Oh, no. Sorry.
No, second.
Matt was the first year, so second year.
All right, Leroyce, I'm giving you the Meme GIF King Award. Like
Amen.
the Rev said earlier in his speech, you kept the chat, you kept the league exciting. It was so much to some of the guys are in different leagues with me. Like my brothers were saying, we need a Leroyce in this league.
Yeah.
The other chats were boring.
Everybody needs a Leroyce in their life.
Everybody does.
So you were amazing keeping it hype all the way through the middle of the week. There was a ton of excitement. And here we go. Commish, give this one to Phil.
Just going to give me all the hard ones.
All right, I'll give it here. Phil, we give you
You gave it to him.
We give you the Tank Award. And that's not a compliment for how big you are. All right. First off, this is the first year you're not in the playoffs, so it's kind of a big fall from where you constantly are, usually in the championship game or the semifinals. But then you truly tanked toward the end when you picked up how many ODU players that weren't on active rosters.
I love the ODU pick. Actually, I thought that was pretty great. If you're going to do it, let's do it.
And then I recognized the names. I'm like, oh, he went deep. I didn't even know you could find him on the Sleeper app. But yeah, so it's not a compliment in there, but the Tank Award for that move to get you that first pick. So
I realized that our Patriot comparison to him always just continues. I mean, Patriots this year, terrible.
Yeah. And then Andy, we mentioned it earlier, but yes, you're Tim's best friend. Tim's best friend award goes to you with those trades. Oh man, find a friend like Andy and you can win championships. All right, man. That's all of our Frendzies Awards we have for our local guys, man. We love it. We have a lot of fun poking fun at each other. I hope you guys enjoy your Frenzy Award. They're in the mail. It probably won't come in. It got lost. Anyways, Commish, you have anything for our listeners?
Just thanks for a fun season, guys.
Yeah.
Just the whole league. You guys have made it fun. We, continue to do this, and we hope it's more fun because we do this.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you guys interact with it has made it, rewarding for us to keep doing this. So the more you guys react to the stuff that we're doing, I think the longer we'll do this.
Yeah, so going into the off season, we'll usually go about one episode maybe a month, or depending on what the activity level is in the NFL of fantasy relevance. So we'll be on your social media accounts. You'll see us post our latest podcasts and stuff, but we're not as active week to week during the off season.
And I can't leave this episode. I'm glad you guys were nice enough not to shame me, but I'm wearing my Dolphins gear, loud and proud today. They had a winning in, and they got demolished by backups of Buffalo Bills. So, yes, I'm hurting in case you're wondering.
He's hurting so bad. Well, we have to sign off so he can cry on David's shoulders. All righty, guys. See you later, and deuces, Tim.